Welcome back to some more conspiracy theories and unexplained mysteries, man. But before we get to the craziness, I need y'all to help me unplug some more people out of the matrix. And you do that by spamming that like button, then putting hashtag unplugged in the comment section. All right, let's get to it.
The moon landing never happened. Well, that's what some conspiracy theorists say, and here's why. Number 1, the flag. How is it waving in no atmosphere? NASA claims this was for image. A limp flag doesn't look good. So they added a horizontal rod that didn't fully extend to the length of the flag, which gave it a waving motion. Number 2, the star.
Never heard that theory. Never have heard that. In all of my space, like diving into space information and gather, I never heard that before. That's crazy.
Why can't we see them in the photos? Well, unlike our eyes, photos can only take a certain amount of light. The light from the sun and other sources made it too bright for them to be visible. Number 3, radiation. How did the astronauts not die from radiation exposure? The spacecraft's hull supposedly shielded the astronauts from being exposed to lethal radiation dosages. Once they were out of the extreme radiation zone, their few hours on the moon were not considered to be detrimental. So do you think the moon landing was faked, or did it really happen? This must be the proof that the moon landing was filmed in a studio. Have you ever noticed that the flag planted by Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the moon appears to be waving? However, there's no atmosphere on the moon, meaning no wind. So, how is this possible? I must disappoint the conspiracy theorists again, as there's a very simple explanation for this theory too. The flag doesn't move due to wind, but only when the astronauts touched and planted it in the ground. Here's the explanation. On Earth, the atmosphere quickly dampens such light vibrations. However, on the moon, without an atmosphere, vibrations persist longer. Additionally, a horizontal rod was used to stretch the flag, creating the illusion of it waving. All right, I've pretty much explained every moon landing conspiracy theory.
When did the Chinese land on the moon?
I have no idea.
2013. Did you ever see the video?
No.
So the Chinese landed on the moon in 2013. And they released a video for it. But pretty quick, that video was taken down. And they said, no, it's just a joke. Because it was so bad. It was so fake. Because they didn't have, Kubrick,
The moon landing is one of the best ones. Between 1969 and 1973, I think it gets real scary when you want to be right.
So on this side,
They sent, I think it was 7 missions, 6 of them were successful. They sent these people around the moon, 250,000 plus miles out there and back. But ever since then, all they've been able to do is get people into near Earth orbit. Ever since then, like the highest anyone's ever gone, I think it's 400 miles. So they went from 260,000 miles all the way to the moon and back to 400 miles. And they've never gone through the Van Allen radiation belts. They've never gone into deep space and returned. The moon landing is one of the...
So why? It's surprising, man, because most people can't hold water. I don't care if they signed NDAs or, you know what I'm saying? Eventually it leaks. Why hasn't that information come out from either one of them that was there back then? Why did that never come out? That's the part that always blows my mind. If they never went, I'm almost willing to bet anything that information would have leaked out back then. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Does anyone actually still watch the moon landing footage and think it's real?
Houston, we've had a problem. Main B bus undervolt. Roger, main B undervolt. Stand by at 13, we're looking at it. Okay, right now, Houston, the voltage is looking good.
Have you heard the conspiracy theory? You're smiling, it makes me think you may have heard this. There's people who say man didn't really land on the moon, that it was manufactured.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to that?
Well, I was out at the Space Center in 2015 for the 50th anniversary of the EVA. A gentleman from England walked up and said, tell me truthfully. I said, we didn't really land on the moon. It was done in a movie studio. And I said, come here, I'll show you a few things that came back from the moon, and then you tell me that's not the case. I'll guarantee you. We all puckered up like a prune worrying about that flight. Don't tell me we didn't land on the moon. Worked on the spacesuit. I saw the footprints that we designed on the moon, so I know we were there. There's no doubt about it.
people can actually watch this footage and believe it's real.
I already know his go-to. He gonna either say the flag, to which that's everybody's claim to fame right now, the flag, even though people have talked about the rod that was in the flag twice already in this video, but he's either gonna talk about the flag or the fact that you can't see the stars. That's everybody. I'm waiting to hear more information, whichever side of the field you land on, whether you believe we went or whether you don't believe we went. I want to hear more theories as to why, other than those main two. That's all I'm saying.
Undervolt. Roger, main B undervolt. Stand by 13, we're looking at it.
So tell me, everybody, why haven't we been back?
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
Now,
we destroyed the huh? That don't even sound right to me. We destroyed.
I want you to think about the absolute crazy amount of progression there has been in the last 50 years with technology. It's a painful process to build this again. Is that foil? Let's not forget the phone call transmitted from the moon to the president.
Hello, Neil and Buzz. I'm talking to you by telephone from the Oval Room at the White House. And this certainly...
That's the most telling part to me, because you can't even put film through certain scanners at the airport without destroying it, but you could transmit all the way from the moon to the Earth through the Van Allen radiation belt. But I know people actually believe we didn't go to the moon.
Do you know that the moon you gaze at every night could be fake? It sounds crazy, but let me explain. Two Soviet scientists, Vasin and Sherbakov, put forward this crazy theory in the 1970s. They thought the moon might be some kind of hollow planet created by beings far more technologically advanced than us. It's based on anomalies that scientists can't explain. The moon is far too big, strangely old, and surprisingly light. These rocks are composed of minerals we can't find anywhere else in our solar system. Intriguing, no, and you know what else? When the Apollo 12 mission hit the lunar surface with the equivalent of a ton of TNT, the seismometers recorded strange activity. The moon rang like a bell for over an hour, but that's not all. The moon's strange synchronicity with the sun remains unapplied. They set at the same point on the equinox, opposite the solstice, as if everything were perfectly aligned. The chances are infinitesimal, and the craters on the moon are strangely too shallow compared to the force of the impacts, and their bottoms are flat, as if striking a tough shell hidden beneath. Not to mention photos taken during Apollo broadcasts that seem to show man-made structures. So what's the truth? Is the moon a fake?
Here comes the truth about the moon landings.
What was the scariest moment of the journey?
Scariest? It didn't happen. It could have been scary. Certainly.
So one conspiracy theory that I've heard a lot is that when the astronauts were walking on the moon, you can see that they kick up a lot of dust. So people say, well, if there's no air on the moon, how is the dust flying around?
Remind me to dust my camera too, will you? Don't forget to dust your camera. We'll keep track of that for you, see.
What actually happened on the moon? In 2009, a photo was found on NASA's website where a photo of the moon crater was seen in the background. When enhanced, you can see that there are structures that look like a base of operations on it. Furthermore, Neil Armstrong has come forth and said that there were other things on the moon during the moon landing, as quoted by him. These babies are huge, sir. Enormous. Oh God, you wouldn't believe it. They are on the moon watching us. So, who else is on the moon? And what?
See, that's the thing right there that gets you. Even for the ones who are non-believers and skeptics, when you hear that, bro, because you've heard so many different theories about, you know, could there be life on the moon, the same as Mars, the same as some of these other planets. When you hear that, and then they go back to kind of like giving you the quote from the moon landing and the recording and everything like that, and them saying like, what is this? I don't know, man. We just don't know. We don't know. And there could be things there, bro. Just think about it. If Pluto, if they think that there are signs of life on Pluto of all places, how can you just shrug and say, nah, there's nothing there on the moon? How do you know for sure?
You know, there's a crazy conspiracy theory connected to The Shining and the moon landing.
Yeah, I heard about the moon landing.
Yeah, it's all about the number on the doors, exact same amount of thousands of miles, 237, and it's 237,000 miles away. The little kid did have an Apollo 11 sweatshirt.
Yeah, that's true. He did have an Apollo 11.
I mean, that's pretty on the nose. You know, and he's the guy that the conspiracy theorists, when they get the most crazy, when they really want to dive into who did it, they think it was all Kubrick. Kubrick literally filmed the fake moon landing, uploaded it to the American TV satellites.
If anyone could do it, it'd be him. He'd be the guy I would get to do it.
Can you imagine if that was really what happened?
I've heard
all these years.
I remember hearing all the conspiracy theorists about the Illuminati killing him because he...
What episode is this on Rogan? Somebody please put it in the comment section so I can go watch and listen to this. This definitely, I want to hear more about this. I never knew that about The Shining at all.
Yeah.
Well, they were worried he was going to open his mouth, tell about the moon landing. That too. That was his last one. They're like, enough. This guy's getting too close.
Because I think he died like a week after that movie.
Of course he did.
This is a video of Apollo 17 taking off from the moon. You can see the camera zoom out and then pan up. But nobody had to stay behind on the moon to film this. NASA didn't even attempt to film the liftoff from the moon until Apollo 15. That was the 4th mission to land on the moon. This is the camera that they used to film those takeoff videos, and it was attached to the rover. There's the camera on the rover, and they parked the rover far enough away from where they were taking off where they could capture it. They controlled the camera from Earth, so it wasn't easy. There's a few seconds
Best engineers ever. That's all I'm gonna say.
Of a time delay between the moon and Earth, so they had to send these commands to the camera without watching it in real time. They were looking at a clock and not the video. On the first attempt on Apollo 15, the tilt mechanism malfunctioned, so the camera never moved upwards, so the video isn't great. Apollo 16 was a little bit better, but the astronauts parked the rover too close to the lander, so when they took off, the calculations were a little bit wrong, and it went out of frame pretty quickly. So it wasn't until the very last moon landing, the 6th one, that this was finally successful, and it gave us this incredible footage, and nobody was left behind on the moon. And fun fact, the camera actually continued to operate for at least 27 hours after the takeoff.
Someone is watching us from the moon. On November 20th, 1969, Apollo 12 deliberately crashed the ascent stage of its lunar module on the moon's surface, but scientists got a shock of their lives as the moon rang like a bell, indicating that what we thought we knew about the moon was not true at all. In ancient civilizations, the moon seemed to appear out of nowhere, as if someone placed it there deliberately. But who did it? And more importantly, where are they now? Are they living inside the moon? Is the moon just a satellite for aliens to observe us?
More footage of the map of the world on the moon.
So you wanted more footage of the map of the world on the surface of the moon, huh? Well, you're gonna get just that, but first let me give a disclaimer so this video doesn't get taken down. This video was made strictly for entertainment purposes only. Nothing in this video should be considered factual. We simply point out patterns and things that we notice. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and say the whole video is scripted. Alright, now let's get into it. So we got a comment asking for more footage of the moon. So here is some more footage of the moon surface morphing into the world map so you can get a better idea of what I'm talking about. And at the end, we're gonna go over the map and the continents and kind of break down it. So hopefully you can get a better picture of what I'm saying. Hopefully this video helps. Alright, I'm gonna stop talking for now.
Have y'all ever seen that before? I have never seen or heard that the moon is the how is it like the reflection of the earth? Huh? Any of y'all ever heard that theory before? That's a totally new one to me. I need to look into some more stuff to see. You know what I mean? Of course, this is the internet.
Of course, we landed on the moon, right? Watch this guy. He's hammering a post into the ground and he drops his hammer, okay? Well, how easy should it be for him to pick up that hammer? Well, it's nearly impossible because he's hanging from wires and he can't get down enough. Okay? He can't get down. He's trying to pick it up and he can't get it. I mean, look at this.
I guess if you look in this, you can see it kind of does look like a reflection of the Earth when you think about it. Think about that and look at the globe.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing? What is going on with the moon?
Now that time it looked like a flag. It looked like two flags in different directions or something like that. Now it's moving like it noticed somebody's, or it knows somebody's looking at it.
I've been told that the moon is a machine filled with computers. It watches, observes, downloads, uploads information to someone somewhere else in the universe. It has been used as a monitoring and manipulation station by non-humans for millions of years. I have talked with people who have worked in government intel agencies, people who would be CIA, NSA, have said, it's absolutely right.
Our moon. I can sit here and I can drag out a blackboard and show you mathematically this body, Earth, does not have the gravitational mass to capture a moon that big and hold it. And then not only hold it in a tidal lock. There's also, if you would check with Cherokee and the Hopi Indians, they have history before white man ever showed up of moonless nights, meaning the moon wasn't there. Then there's Neil Armstrong and all his stuff. They put seismographs and plotters on the moon. That was the first thing they set out in their instruments. Then they got up and fired the upper section back into the moon. When it crashed, the moon resonated like a bell, and it rang for hours.
Could this be proof we never went to the moon? Okay, so the United States claims to have sent 24 astronauts to the moon, and that 12 men even walked on the moon. But this man approached majority of those astronauts, and he asked them to swear on the Bible that they actually walked on the moon. And their responses give away everything.
You walked on the moon. We're given the opportunity to swear to God that you walked on the moon.
I'm going to give you the opportunity to get the hell knocked out of you. So maybe
you know they can't talk about it, bro. You know, I know people know that, so they use that to support their theories sometimes. You know what I mean? They know these people can't talk.
So why don't you just put the into the record in the argument and put your hand on the Bible, swear to God you walked on the moon.
Mr. Several, knowing you, that's probably a fake Bible.
Well, you're talking to the wrong guy. Why don't you talk to the administrator at NASA? We're passengers. We're guys going on a flight.
I don't get people, but you're going to be on the deck unless you get
Well, I take your stuff and get why don't you quote me and say it's
moon landing? Bollocks. Can't land on the moon. The moon's like it's a luminary. It's like it doesn't exist for you to drive up and land on.
You just think that was like a political play?
Clearly, obviously. If you mate, go on, if you get your phone out, look at the fucking lunar landing. Honestly, you know, like now.
I have actually looked at some of those videos, and some of them
hangers and tinfoil and duct tape. Come on, man. Do you know what I mean? Like that went through an infinite vacuum to no. We've got Wi-Fi now, yeah, and the signal's dog. You get a Wi-Fi call and you're like, it says 5G, but you're like, you can't hear nothing. But then this guy's got his little dial-up phone and he's like rang the fella on the moon. They're like, oh yes, hey Houston. Like really, honestly, you genuinely believe that as a fully grown man?
What was the rap lyric? People fear what they don't understand, hate what they can't conquer. I guess that's just the theory of man. Was that Nas? I just feel like in these moon conversation with certain conspiracy theorists, that Nas bar from that song just reigns so true in a lot of these situations.
Have you really thought about what it would take to fake a moon landing? because the rocket did launch. We all saw the rocket launch. Okay? So there's hardware there. They're like office buildings of blueprints for the design of the Saturn V rocket. The hundreds of engineering hours that went behind this and the records of those designs.
And that's the part that I don't like being disrespected. All the hard work those engineers did for people to just come behind and say it didn't happen. That's just kind of like a spit in the face to them and their hard work. Now, if they come out and say it didn't happen, then cool.
If you wanted to fake the moon landing, you would have to fake all of these documents. And it just seems to me it's way easier to just go to the moon. Has anyone considered that? Just go to the moon. That's easier than faking all of this. So, no. Yeah, we went to the moon.
Did you know that the moon you contemplate every evening could be hollow? Sounds crazy, right? But let me explain. In the 1970s, two Soviet scientists, Baffling and Sherbakov, put forward this wild theory. They believed that the moon might be some kind of hollow planet created by beings far more technologically advanced than us. They based their idea on anomalies that scientists cannot explain. The moon is far too large, oddly old, and surprisingly light. Its rocks are composed of minerals not found anywhere else in our solar system. Intriguing, isn't it? And you know what? When the Apollo 12 mission hit the lunar surface with the equivalent of a ton of TNT, seismometers recorded strange activity. The moon rang like a bell for over an hour, and that's not all. The peculiar synchronicity of the moon with the sun remains unexplained. They both set at the same point during the equinox, opposite at the solstice, as if everything were perfectly aligned. The chances of this happening by random are infinitesimal. Moreover, the moon's craters are oddly shallow compared to the force of the impacts, and their bottoms are flat, as if they hit a sturdy hidden shell below. Not to mention the photos taken during Apollo missions that seem to show artificial structures. So, what's the truth? Is the moon fake?
Facts about the moon that will change your perception of it and reality forever. Now remember, these aren't highly possible theories, but pure scientific and mathematical facts. Number 1, the same side of the moon faces us at all times. This means that the side that is dark is always dark, and the side that is light is always light. So truly we don't know what's on the dark side of the moon. Number 2, it is the exact same size precisely as the sun in the sky, not bigger or smaller, which is actually like a 1 in a million chance of happening in our galaxy. And number 3, this one is really surprising. Scientists everywhere are now saying mathematically it has to be hollow. And this is after trying to prove that the hollow theory of the moon is wrong. In declassified documents, NASA reports doing a test on the lunar surface by crash landing on it, and they reported a bell noise happening for over an hour and a half. Scientists are saying for this to happen naturally is literally 1,000,000,001, not to mention that a planetary body being hollow is literally impossible. They still can't even explain how it was made, only theories. Now let's not all forget, astral projectors, private astronomers, and astronauts all report seeing weird stuff while observing or going there. Scientists that study the moon are now all coming out and saying this thing has to be artificial. But anyhow this gets released, people are going to start asking who made it, and that's going to cause extraterrestrial life to be well known, which will cause elites to lose their power. I think it's time humans start becoming more intelligent and questioning their reality instead of living blindly like how the elites want them to. When you become more intelligent, it's not just you that wins, we all as the collective win. Stop fighting each other, stop getting drunk every night, and start seeking education.
This is the first time I'm hearing all of this about this hollow moon. I told you the main theories that I've always heard. That's why I wanted to dive into these videos today and hear what else is being said in the other conspiracy theories. So other than most of it was the flag and the stars. But now this whole hollow moon theory, I haven't heard enough. What I've heard today in this video is all I've ever heard about it. So I haven't heard enough information yet to kind of see which side of the fence I land on with that. So I'm interested to dive in and catch some more videos up on that. But y'all get at me in the comment section, man. Let me know what y'all have heard, how y'all feel about the moon. What do y'all think? Did we go? Why didn't we go? And why you feel that way? Put it in there. All right? Stick around and stay tuned, man. Till next one, I'm gone. Peace.